everyone please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could have a motion to approve the agenda for June 10th, 2024.
Erica and Angela.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are honoring our retirees this evening, so I am going to turn it over to Mike, who's going to speak in a little more detail, but really it's in appreciation for the years and years of service, and we cannot thank you enough. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Bennett, our superintendent.
Yeah, so you will not be stuck listening to me for these presentations, but I do want to kind of echo what Tracy has said. You know, every time we get to this point where we honor our retirees, it's nice, we get together, we get to recognize them, but there are a lot, I will say a lot of years of dedicated work that these folks have given to the Greenville Central School District, to their colleagues, to our kids, to their families. And education is a tough gig. It has gotten increasingly more difficult through the years, but the people that we are losing this year, it's going to be a tough hole to fill. They have spent a lot of time. They have a lot of institutional knowledge that they take with them. Hopefully we can grasp them a little bit and hold on to some of that knowledge. But it's bittersweet for me as a superintendent because we have to try to fill and tamper our expectations down a little bit as to who are replacing these folks, because we can't possibly replace what we're losing, especially this year with this group. I'm proud to have gotten to work alongside them for the last 2.5 years, but I thought it was appropriate that we have some folks who've been with them a bit longer to speak on their behalf. So I don't think there is any special order. So what I'll do is we'll start with Ms. Caputi.
Let me turn a little bit so I can see Carrie. It's the way I envisioned it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and I have the honor of celebrating a remarkable educator, a dedicated colleague, and a steadfast advocate for our school community. After 34 years of unwavering service in the Greenville Central School District, we bid farewell to someone who embodies what it means to be Spartan strong, Carrie Caputi. Carrie began her time here at Greenville back in 1990, and over the years she's worn so many hats, all of them with grace and dedication, evolving from a classroom math teacher to a curriculum coordinator, a math interventionist, instructional coach, and also a respected union official. In the classroom, she brought mathematics to life for countless students. As a curriculum coordinator, she played a crucial role in shaping academic pathways that our students are still traversing today. And in her role as a math interventionist, she provided invaluable support to students who needed it most. Most recently, as an instructional coach, she shared her wealth of knowledge and experience with teachers in the district K-12. And she's positively impacted the learning experiences of countless students through the teachers she has coached and inspired. Beyond the classroom, Carrie's been a powerful advocate as a union official, championing the rights and interests of her fellow educators and ensuring that their voices are heard and that their contributions are valued and respected. She knows the contract better than anyone, and she can quote it like a preacher can quote the Bible. Amen, yeah. Her leadership and commitment have strengthened our union and our community fostering a culture of collaboration and mutual support. She's seen generations of students grow and succeed, and there isn't a student in this district right now who hasn't benefited from her commitment, leadership, and knowledge. She's seen the pendulum swing back and forth, and back and forth, and she's managed to avoid being knocked out by it. Her adaptability is a testament to her character. Today, we celebrate not just her professional accomplishments, but also the relationships that she's built with the students, her colleagues, and the community. She's known for her warm, welcoming smile, her encouraging words, and her support. She's been a mentor, a friend, and a source of inspiration to so many of us. As she embarks on her well-deserved retirement, we have to reflect on what she's leaving behind. Her influence will continue to resonate through the halls of Greenville for years to come, in the minds of the students she has taught, and in the colleagues that she's inspired, and in the math assessments that she has written. Carrie, on behalf of the entire school district, we thank you for your service, for your tireless commitment, and your unwavering dedication to education. We wish you joy, relaxation, and countless new adventures. And by the way, we hope that you come back and work for us more and consult with us, because we need you. If you all could join me in a round of applause for Carrie. She's a remarkable educator, cherished colleague, and a friend to all. Congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for everything.
Matt, she has a gift.
Our next guest of honor, Ms. Spencer.
Good evening. Bonnie Spencer has been a pillar of our district for 34 years, since 1990. Her unwavering presence has graced Ellis, the middle and high schools, where she has tirelessly supported numerous students at lunch and recess, as a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 aide in classrooms, and most recently is the primary copy person in our middle school, high school buildings. Bonnie's commitment is unparalleled. She's been assigned most of her day to middle school, high school copy room in the years I've known her, and she's always ready to tackle the day's challenges on the high-tech copy machine, and they are today very computerized, and it's a little crazy. Bonnie does a good job, and she doesn't punch or anything, so it's nice. Bonnie does a great job, though, also sometimes problem solving. So she's able to kind of maybe skirt around the problem and still get copies run, because she knows the outside service kind of doesn't always get here as quickly as she'd like. But our teachers next year are going to face significant void when she is retired. Her efficiency is in promptly returning copies and her basket of candy, a sweet treat we've all enjoyed, will be sorely missed. And she has done a fabulous job over the years, and Bonnie, we can't thank you enough for your hard work and commitment here to Greenville. Your presence and contributions have been invaluable, and you will be deeply missed. So, thank you.
Our next honoree, Ms. Sanchez.
I'm going to share a little bit about Deb Sanchez and her career here at Greenville Central School District. Since 1990, I'll let you guys do the math, Deb has been part of the heart of our district's operations. She has held many different positions, from bus driver to aide monitor to clerical. From the early mornings to the late afternoons, she has been a constant presence that keeps our school running smoothly. Deb has been the first face that many of us see each day, or the voice on the other end of the phone, always ready to assist. If you're not familiar with Deb's abilities, here are some things you should know about her. She has exceptional organization skills, an incredible ability to juggle countless tasks, and enjoys taking on larger tasks and projects. Obviously, she likes to stay busy. Whether it's handling paperwork, assisting with student schedules, or providing a comforting word to a stressed student or adult, she has done it all with efficiency. Deb, as you embark on your next chapter of your life, we hope it brings you much joy and fulfillment. May you enjoy every moment of your well-deserved retirement, finding happiness and relaxation in the days ahead. Thank you for your years of service, your hard work, and your unwavering dedication to Greenville schools. We are profoundly grateful for everything you have done for our district. Congratulations and best wishes for a wonderful retirement.
Our next honoree, Ms. Parvis.
Robin has also been a cornerstone in our district for 29 years, since 1995. She started her career at Ellis Elementary and moved to middle school as a 6th grade ELA teacher. Has it been 12, 15, 16 years in middle school? Something like that, that's what I thought. She's been here as long as I have too, so we've kind of came in together. Ever since she's been here in the middle school, she's been a great team member to her colleagues, and in middle school, teaming is very important. She's a very supportive and collaborative team member, and this is critical to student success each year, and Robin was just that for her colleagues. I also have great respect for Robin. Every year, she consistently reviews and reflects on her instruction in the classroom and makes changes to better herself, which in turn is better for the students. Her commitment to understanding each student's abilities by diving into the academic data before they enter the classroom is a testament to her dedication. Throughout the school year, she also continues to review new data to determine if students are progressing, showing her unwavering commitment to their success. Robin does also a great job of helping students find the genre of books they love, trying to spread her passion for reading to them. Robin wants students to read, and it is evident when you walk in her room. Robin, your commitment to Greenville truly models the Spartan Strong's traits, as Mr. Berkshire mentioned before, and we can't thank you enough for your hard work and your commitment to Greenville these past 29 years. You will be deeply missed here in the middle school, as you have been truly fit the middle school model of what it means to be a team teacher. So thank you.
Mr. Reeves, I do want to say that I appreciate you doing the math for us, because Christy would not do the math for her others. So. Our next honoree, Ms. Lubin.
So I get the pleasure of honoring you, Gloria. So excited for you. Gloria has been an aide at Ellis for the past 25 years. She had worked hard every day to do what's best for students with special needs. Many of her service has been supporting students with special needs, working closely with the special education teachers, supporting struggling students during lessons, creating crafts during center time, providing self-regulation strategies, possibly doing some yoga, and the list could go on. So Gloria has been a huge asset to our special education programs and classrooms. Your contributions have been immeasurable, and you're going to be dearly missed. So on behalf of our entire school community, we want to congratulate you on your retirement and wish you all the best.
So not all our honorees could be here today, but we did not want to miss an opportunity to speak on their behalf and give the community a little bit of understanding of how much we will miss their contributions. So our next honoree is Hollywood.
Yes, I talked to Sue after school today, and she really wanted to be here, but it is important that we do share some great thoughts about Sue, as she's been an integral part of our middle school here since 2002, and it's 22 years. Sue is another, again, cornerstone of our district that I will talk about tonight. And she started teaching in 2002, and her voice has been heard ever since, in a very good way. Sue teaches special education when she gets a new group of students each year. They aren't just with her for the year, it's a lifetime. She's able to connect with all our students, sets high expectations for all of them, and provides tough love when needed. Sue spent most of her middle school years in the 8th grade as a major part of ensuring her students walk across the bridge and are prepared for high school. High school students always return to say hi to Sue and ask for advice for help when needed. Whenever you walk by her room, someone's in there visiting. For the past several years, Sue's also been a very strong teacher leader as the team leader for the 8th grade. She's a big part of decisions that I talk to her about and rely on with my team leaders that happen at the team level, and in turn are big positive impacts for the whole building. Sue, your commitment to Greenville truly models the Spartan strong traits, and we are grateful for your long-standing service and impact on our students. We can't thank you enough for your hard work and commitment to Greenville. Your presence, contributions have been invaluable, and you will be deeply missed. So, thank you, and I will share that with Steve tomorrow.
Next up, Mr. Mahan.
Following Joanne's retirement in March of 2006, he became the elementary principal and remained in that position until his retirement just a few months ago. Throughout his career at Greenville, he was fully committed to the field of education and worked tirelessly to support teachers and students so that they could reach their full potential. He's an intelligent, charismatic, well-spoken professional who always wanted to do what is best for students. As a principal, he wanted to look beyond a child's misbehavior and examine the root cause, and then invest the time and energy needed to help them achieve success. Peter has the distinct ability to see a situation holistically, while not losing sight of the critical pieces that need to be addressed. His knowledge of student learning needs, support services, behavioral and academic intervention strategies, and psychometrics were always a strength. Peter prioritized his relationships with parents and families as he valued them as partners in their child's education. I had the distinct pleasure of working with Peter for over 2 decades. As a colleague and as a friend, I enjoyed many conversations with Pete. He's a deep thinker with a good sense of humor. and he was always happy to share the joy of his own learning. While we have already felt the loss of his leadership, I am so happy for him as he embarks on this next chapter in his journey. So thank you, Pete. Thank you for being Spartan Strong. We miss you tonight, but it's been a pleasure to honor you.
Ms. Morozic.
All right, so unfortunately, Deb Rozek was not able to be here this evening, so I have the honor of speaking on her behalf. But Deb has dedicated 21 years of service as a teacher here at GCS. For the last 14 years, specifically as a special education teacher, primarily in the 12th grade, she has positively impacted the lives of countless students with special needs, helping them to achieve their fullest potential while fostering a love for learning. Her unwavering commitment has not gone unnoticed. Deb provides a welcoming place for students to come during their lunch periods. She listens to their needs while delivering positive feedback. By building a strong relationship with these students, she's been able to help them complete their classwork, get themselves back on track in order for them to graduate on time. That's one of her biggest accomplishments. She's always saying to me, oh, I'm gonna get these kids to graduate. We just need to finish one more classwork, you know, so she's gone above and beyond in that respect. So on behalf of our school community, I wanted to express our deepest gratitude for her tireless efforts and heartfelt passion for special education students. And I hope she's listening tonight, so I hope you enjoy your retirement.
And our final honoree this evening, Ms. Lansing.
Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of speaking about Veronica Lansing's time at Scott Ellis Elementary School. Veronica came to Greenville in 1999 and is an aide monitor, and in 2005 she became a teaching assistant. Over the years, she has participated in many additional duties that went above and beyond her normal days. For many years, she ran the Ellis bookstore, which she helped to organize, as well as help students with their transactions, counting money, keeping things organized and well-stocked. She also took part in Labels for Education, in which she collected, counted, and mailed thousands of labels every year. This year, I was lucky enough to get to know Veronica through the Character Ed PLC, in which she's been involved in for a few years. During one of our meetings, we came up with a service project and decided to have students make cards for those in assisted living. Veronica ran with this idea before we had even nailed out any of the details, and spent her whole weekend creating, getting all the materials ready for these cards. And so she came in on Monday and she had organized all of the cards for all of the classrooms, delivered them to the teachers and everything. I was so impressed. I was like, oh wow, we hadn't even really thought of all these details, and she did. When she gets passionate about something, she runs with it, and that's just a testament to her character, you know? She's always so kind, caring. She has such a joyful presence in the building. She always greets everyone with a smile and is eager to give a helping hand whenever is needed. So we're going to miss her next year, but we hope that she enjoys a well-deserved retirement.
Again, I would just like to collectively thank all of our honorees, our retirees this evening. Your passion for what you do, the work that you've done, the lives that you have affected does not go unnoticed, and you will be difficult to replace. So once again, one final applause for all our retirees. Okay, so I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize one of our Board of Education members. As we all know, this highly paid position that you all have for coming here on a monthly, sometimes bi-monthly. The money just is not enough. But what people don't see is the amount of time you spend outside of board meetings, not only preparing for the board meetings, going through my board updates, the different agendas, but also trying to better yourselves in getting professional development through NISBA and signing on to some of those trainings. So we have a board member tonight that I'd like to recognize for reaching level 1, which is a certain number of PD hours that they've gone on their own time again for the work that they've done. And at this point, I'd like to thank Kelly Hubicki for her time and energy.
And thank you, Kelly. And I think that the ongoing learning is really a critical component. Sometimes we realize all that we don't know. And so the webinars and the additional information just helps us ask better questions is the way I put it. So thank you. All right, I'm going to move us on to...
Before we do, I would just like to also recognize Harrison for his time here on serving as a student. We got you a nameplate placard, Harrison, that
You're official.
got your official name on it, but I also want to take the time and be able to do this in part of our meeting that is going to be yours to keep. We want to just give you a little token of our appreciation for the time that you've spent a lot of Mondays here with us and being a nice part of the board and being a true contributor for the school. So thank you, Harrison.
Well, Mr. Bent and everyone, thank you.
He even knows how to get to the next microphone. That is right there, that's experience.
But really, everyone, it has just been such a pleasure being here with you all, really. And I didn't even notice this, but really, you all will remain in my heart forever. It's been a pleasure. You all do great work, and it certainly does not go unchecked with me. And it's been such a pleasure. So thank you so much. And also, I just want to, as a student, just give some tribute to our 9 retirees this year. Thank you so much for your dedication and service to the students in the school community. You deserve it. And it's been such a pleasure to sit here and listen to all the wonderful presentations done for everyone. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Sorry for jumping around. There's a lot to say. Thank you.
And it really just goes to show that good work is really, it's a collaboration and everyone contributes. So thank you to everyone for that. All right, I'm going to move us on then to the open forum. And the Greenville Central School District wishes to facilitate public access to meetings of the Board of Education and to provide an opportunity for public comment at these meetings. Accordingly, the open forum provides an opportunity for members of the public to share thoughts about topics on the agenda. An individual's comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Additionally, comments may be emailed to the district clerk, Daphne Pearson, using the email pearsond@greenvillecsd.org. In order for an email to be read during the meeting, it must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting and state that the email is to be read out loud. Emails shall be limited to 600 words. Please note, this is not the time to register complaints that need to be addressed confidentially through the proper channels. Remarks that might be considered defamatory, obscene, profane, stigmatizing, or otherwise impermissible in public forums are prohibited and will be declared out of order. Board members actively listen during the open forum, but may not immediately respond to comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Do we have any emails? No? Okay. Then I'm going to move us on to the discussion. Right, so first on the topic for the discussion, we have an update on the capital project.
Yes, as we had mentioned a couple of months back, this will be a standing discussion point for each of our board meetings as we are now into the process of our long-awaited capital project. I do have a small update for this meeting, which is kind of exciting. We have started our asbestos abatement into the art rooms. They are working second shift, which will basically be from 3 in the afternoon till 11. So that process has started, and we're excited that, and again, I want to give a shout out to our art folks who have given up their rooms, and we've been able to put them in other spaces so that our contractors can get in and start this work so it doesn't delay our work. So that work has begun, and you actually can probably see some of the stuff outside this window here. So that has started, and we're excited. We've gotten people moved into the contractors starting to really move on to the campus, so we're starting to see some movement. And once summer hits, once the kids are gone, it'll really pick up quite a bit. So that's it for this update.
Any questions regarding the capital project at this point? Okay, then I'm going to move us on to a communications update by Sarah Pizzola, the school communications specialist. So Sarah, take it away. And just to point out with the podium, Matt, that was a brilliant idea, and so we can respond, so thank you. I really like that placement.
That's good.
Hi, everybody. I'm just here to give you a quick update on communications progress from this year. So one of the main changes that we made was getting rid of the bi-weekly curriculum updates that we had initiated last year, and those were updates that were sent to middle and high school families. Overall, it had low readership numbers. At the middle school, the average is about 103, and at the high school, it was 104. So this year, instead, we added the Spartan Snapshot, which was a weekly communication for families of students in grades K through 12. And that includes announcements and updates from across the district. So the Spartan Snapshot has gone out every Thursday at 6 p.m. since the beginning of the school year. We've had a lot so far. And the average readership is 570 people every week. So it's we've had wonderful feedback about that. And we will continue that publication next year with a few enhancements to the design and usability. On social media, we've continued to use it to build a trusted source for school information online. On Instagram, in the past year, we've gained over 170 new followers, which brings us to about 719. And for reference, at this time last year, we had 550 followers, and the year before that, we had 170. So we're certainly gaining traction online. On Facebook, we gained 4,000 new followers, which brings us to 7,000 total, and it is the largest among any school that I found in our area. And that would be thanks to our snow day videos. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Last year at this time, we had about 2,800 followers, and the year before that was about 2,000 followers. As a comparison, Coxsackie has 3,500, Durham has 2,600, Catskill 2,200. So we obviously have had a large increase thanks to our snow day videos. In January, the video we posted, it got 23,000 likes, 2,400 shares, and it reached over 1.5 million unique people. So that was pretty cool. And then in the last 90 days, our best performing post was about the clay trap team, which reached 39,000 people and engaged 3,000. So pretty incredible for a new program here. We will continue with our social media practices next year, including our snow day videos. Sorry, Mr. Bennett. I will be also working with Mr. Bennett and the school lawyer over the summer to hopefully revise our FERPA form that goes home. As our online presence increases, I want to make it more clear to families what their privacy rights are and how they can opt out. In terms of our digital signs, you may have noticed some adjustments. This year, the big thing has been at the elementary school, we only show elementary signs, and at the high school, we only show the middle and high school signs. So it's more applicable to those schools, and people have enjoyed that. In terms of emergency communications, I've continued to work over the past year I always say that crisis communications, it takes the least amount of my time day to day, but it is the most important part of my job when the time comes. At this point, we have templates drafted for over 30 emergency situations, which I know seems silly, but it's to have something to reference. So everything from a bear being loose on campus to a power outage that sends us home early, we are prepared. To compile the templates, I've really just been studying what other schools and organizations do and seeing how their communities react online and taking note for what we can do in the future. Next year, we'll continue with Mr. Bennett's quarterly safety reminders, and our readership for those are usually highest around back to school, about 700 or 800, and then otherwise average about 400 people throughout the school year. Additionally, I've attended a number of conferences and trainings around school safety this year, and one of the biggest gaps that I've noticed on our campus is between safety trainings for families, volunteers, and substitutes. So what to do if I'm volunteering and I'm a parent in the classroom and we go into a lockdown. So to bridge that gap this summer, I'll be working on creating safety training videos that can be accessed by parents, volunteers, and substitutes alike, all online, and hopefully we'll have those ready for the fall. Also this year, we continued our partnership with the Greenville Pioneer, where each month they publish a Spartan Strong section, and that has been wonderful to reach a different audience. We'll continue that next year, as well as we will be getting a partnership with Porcupine Soup. We'll have a permanent spot on their website where they will publish a new article every week for us. And I'm going to be working with the art department across K through 12 to publish an arts and culture section. We'll be able to feature more art like this from all grade levels online. Last year, we also started with our district-wide calendar that we sent to each household, and all board members got one as well. We got very positive feedback about this, and so we're going to continue it next year. I've already started making our calendar for next year. And we will continue sending text messages before those untraditional days off, like the snow day give back day or half days. It really helps with not forgetting kids on buses or childcare things. And then for next year, we'll continue with the e-news. When Matt Urban joins us in July, we'll start reviewing the communications at the elementary school and see what we can do from there. And we'll work on setting a new process for advertising events to make sure that all organizations and events get the same amount of advertising. Other than that, does anybody have any questions for this year?
Question on the safety videos that you're going to start doing. Do you have a plan for how to not, like, are those just going to be on the public website? Will they be accessible only to people who completed the volunteer forms? How do you work that?
So that is something we have to talk about a little more, and that was my #1 concern when I attended the one conference where I saw some of these videos. And I said, what do you do? Because you're basically telling an assailant, somebody who wants to do something bad, how to do it. And it was in the I Love You Guys Foundation who was giving the presentation, and they said it's actually better to have those videos public facing because it tells the bad people we know how to respond, and people in our district are trained on what to do. And I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but there was a very large number of those assailants being students or former students who are already trained in here. So the plan right now is to have it public facing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sierra. I think it's wonderful to see a digital presence because it is part of our society and our lives and everything else. And thank you for handling it and coming up with great ideas. Appreciate it. All right, so let's see. We've got some changes to the Board of Education schedule for the 24-25 schedule and the school improvements and district goals development calendar. So I'll take this one. So for the school improvement calendar, we took an opportunity to kind of step back, and some of the dates had been driven by New York State and a certain classification, and so we looked at those dates and said, now that we are not constrained necessarily by them, do they still make sense for the administrators and so forth? So what is attached is the update, and then the impact that that has on the Board of Ed calendar. The main one that we saw was that in February, we have a data presentation on the the 10th, the 12th, and then a couple of days or 2 weeks later, we have a board retreat whereby we're going through with data analysis. And so the thought was, rather than asking the administrators to kind of do it twice, could we combine it together so that the information would be available to the public on board docs as a presentation for the information that normally would be at the board meeting, but at the same time, not duplicating all the efforts, to really take the best of both. So that was the key change really that we made to the calendar. We took off one presentation for the meeting in February and just moved it to the Board of Ed. I just wanted to update everyone. Okay. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Kubicki, and if you could provide us who will be providing us an update on the coffee and chat that recently happened.
All right, so we held a coffee and chat last weekend in Medusa. It was fairly well attended. I think we had about a dozen people there, maybe a little more. A couple of people came and went, and it was in the library, so some of them weren't necessarily there for us, but they ended up visiting. Eric and Tracy were there with me, and we had some good conversation on a lot of different topics. We covered everything from ELA curriculum questions to just kind of updating on some different things that have come up over the course of the last year or two, and parents and families wanting to know, where we stood with things. I found it interesting. We actually had several people who have no kids in the district and just wanted to kind of come in and find out, I've heard this or that. We talked about budget concerns and spending. We talked about behavioral things. We talked about some concerns about staff training, which we'll get into a little bit later. What else did I miss? Yeah, it was a good conversation. We spent the full 2 hours and probably could have kept going. It was well received. I think they would like us to come back another time, maybe next year. We had tried to get it in before the budget so that if people had budget questions, they could come to us, but there was just, we weren't able to make that work with everyone's schedules. And I think the next one we're going to attempt to do, these seem to be well received, even if the crowds are small, they're at least getting out there and getting questions. We'll try to set one up either for the end of the summer, start of the school year, and either down, we haven't gotten into like the Hannah Croy and Medway area. I'd like to get in that way somehow, or even just coming back into town. But so that's that.
Wonderful, and I do think it's a wonderful opportunity to just meet one-on-one and just kind of ask questions and really have a conversation that sometimes in these meetings it just doesn't lend itself. And for follow-up questions, so that when we shared something and then it prompts another question, then you can have that dialogue. So thank you for organizing it, and we look forward to the next one.
And also, that's amazing that there were a dozen people. That's like the biggest one yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next I want to chat a little bit about the leadership positions for next year. So every year we elect a president and a vice president. And so we were thinking about in going through and kind of like how does the procedure take place. We've had questions asking us about it and so forth. So I did a little bit of research with NYSBA and what some other schools are doing and so forth. And what some schools are doing is that they set time aside at a board meeting close to the reorganization, which happens the first meeting in July. And people basically express if they have a desire for a leadership position. So someone is given 30 seconds to either state that yes, they are interested in a leadership position, and why. So my thought is at the next meeting, so then at the end of June, we would have individuals that are interested in the leadership position express it at our meeting and state why. So that when we go into the organization meeting, then, and we vote and everything else, that people feel that, okay, everyone has an opportunity to express a desire in leadership, or not, for that. So I guess my first thing is, what are your thoughts? Are you okay with us doing that? So now I'm throwing it back to everyone.
I agree with that. I think the more transparency, the better. I know people have had questions like, how do you get into this position? So now it's all out there.
I think it's a perfect opportunity for people to ask questions, I mean, and figure out what's going on. So yeah, I'm going to tell you I'm not running.
All right, then we will have it on the agenda for the end of June. All right. Safety training. No, let's see, extra training. All right,
Yes.
with that, before we talk about the safety training, let's talk about the extra training for board members. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, so workplace violence training has kind of swept the state. The schools, we are not immune to having to take a look at that and training our folks. We had a deadline, I think it was like May 3rd or in and around that area, that we had to get teachers and TAs and all our employees trained. But it also applies to boards of education. So there's two trainings that we've got to spend some time, and we just got to decide how we want to do it, whether it's through a workshop or a retreat. It's the workplace violence and mandatory reporting as Board of Education members, and now working directly with kids, but you may hear certain things out there in the community that would constitute some type of need to report. And so we want to be able to have an in-person training. The workplace violence has to be an in-person training. We'd like to be able to do that with a full board in attendance so that we can make sure everybody has that and can ask the questions that they may have out of that. So just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on whether it's part of a retreat. I think the workplace violence, I forget how long that is. It's like 45 minutes or something like that. And then the mandated reporting is only like 20 minutes or so, or 2 hours. 2 hours, sorry.
That's a big difference.
So there's a big difference. That's a big difference. So we want to make sure that we can carve out a chunk of time to have you guys do that. So think about that, and we'll put that out there. And if it's something that we want to do as part of a retreat or part of a workshop, we can just make sure we get our trainers in to do that and make sure we set a time and a day to do that.
Is that a this year requirement before June 30th?
No, it'll be over the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Mike, just so everyone's clear, can you explain the difference between a workshop and a retreat?
Yeah, retreat is board only. It is the Board of Education comes in. Usually in the past, we've done our retreats in and around goal setting and those types of things, but it's just an opportunity for the Board of Education to have time to work on different things. So that may be something where a workshop is really an opportunity to kind of dive in and ask more questions. There's not business functions usually happening during a workshop. Like tonight, you'll see different action items and things like that. It doesn't happen during a workshop. Ours have primarily been in and around data and data analysis for our workshops. Good question.
One more question.
You've used your question already.
I've used several. I'm going to continue because I just feel that's tonight. Our new student who's coming on, that new student board member, is going to have to also do this?
That's a great question. I will have to look into what that requirement will be for new students.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question.
One final question is this an annual training, or have they decided, time frame to renew this training?
I'm not sure what the legislation is in regards to, like, our folks who've done mandatory reporting did it when we first became licensed and hadn't had to do it again. This time, because there's changes, everybody had to be recertified. We had to have everybody do it again. So my guess is once you have it, you've got it, you should be set.
with that, then I'm going to move this on to safety training. And Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. So over the course of this year, between the coffee chats and then just some conversations, because you can't go to the grocery store or a game without talking to people, and I love it, but the same kind of recurring theme that keeps coming up. And it got to the point where when I got to the 6th person, or maybe now it's been 7 or 8, I thought, okay, it's time to talk about it. I have heard from several employees of the district, mainly the aides. They do not feel like they have the appropriate training or enough training for what they're doing. I'm concerned because they're asking for things like CPR training, trainings on how to keep kids safe on the playground, whether that's in an emergency or just overall. And the biggest one that they ask for is de-escalation training, things where they can be more useful in the school, but also, again, keeping themselves safe, keeping the kids safe. And it's not the same exact conversation with everyone, but there is enough there, and it's coming from different people who don't know the others have talked to me. I also am concerned because a lot of these people are coming in mid-year. Not all of them are people who are hired in September, so they're not getting the same training if they come in mid-year. Substitutes aren't getting the same training, and they want it. The people I've talked to have said, like, we want this, we've asked about it before, and we've been turned down. I'd like to see us really explore. When we went to Questar last month for our tour, we were talking with the gentleman there, and they were saying they have a program that they can bring to the district and do the training that these aides are looking for the de-escalation and the safety type stuff. I think it's really important, and I think it needs to be a big issue, a bigger priority than it is right now.
Thank you for that. And again, I think one of the issues that we'll need to do is to get a little bit more specific on what people are looking for. So maybe it is getting kind of a survey out there. We do provide training for various issues, whether it's at the elementary school, there's been some de-escalation training, there's been some behavioral stuff, but to get more specific in regards to what they're looking for. We do offer CPR and first aid training to coaches and things like that, so that may be something that we want to do as well. We can certainly work with Matt as he's going through, and like we have Heimlich maneuver and some of those things that are going to be trained in this upcoming fall for folks. So I think that the most difficult part for us will be as people leave and come on mid-year after the start of the year, is keeping track of who's had what. And so between Matt and Aaron in our office tracking some of that, but I think that getting to what exactly people are looking for and then trying to cater to what the needs are. Some of the issues we have too, though, is trying to find times to get this training done for folks. We don't have a lot of time outside of like their first day of school. As Matt has been working with the different union heads on what those days will look like. There's so much mandatory training that they're required to do. And so looking at that and how we can fit that in will be something that we'll look to do as well.
I think obviously the CPR and first aid is important, but the de-escalation is huge from, Ellis all the way up.
And perhaps we can do it, regardless of somebody starts on their first few days, they're on an induction or whatever they're doing, they have to, it might be sending them off to a third-party place to make sure they always have it available, so everyone that has it before they start their first day has it complete. That might help if we partner with somebody.
Yeah, and I think Questar, I think there are some video trainings that we can purchase and make available to folks. I know what Sierra said with some of the drill trainings and some of those things. There is the opportunity to perhaps video or get through Questar some of those trainings.
I did happen to speak also the union president, because I didn't want it to blindside her tonight. And I know that even that she had a really great thought and idea and was able to even provide me with an example of something that she had been developing. So even reaching out with Karen would be a good starting point.
Great, thank you.
Harrison, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I changed my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. I think they're all valid concerns that just make people more comfortable in how to respond and safety, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. All right, so you ready to switch over to committees? Go for it.
All right, and then I get to be quiet for a while, right? All right, so Jim and I have spent this year working on our board goal, which we talked about a couple updates. I think this will finally, we have kind of a plan, and this will be our final update, and the next process will be to actually, as part of like the reorganization in July, put it into place. So we have met with the heads of all the committees that the district has. We've also done some research on the state mandated committees, the ones that we were required to have by state ed. Met with Mr. Bennett several times. He's been very patient with me. So we have basically 3 recommendations. The first one is our code of conduct committee is not required by state ed. We do not see anywhere that it is required contractually. This code of conduct is supposed to be reviewed annually. So it makes a lot of sense to take that committee and remove it from the list and take the charge of the committee, the code of conduct review and implementation, and put that into the DLT, the district level shared decision-making team. All of the stakeholders that sit on code of conduct, they're duplicated on the DLT. It gives the DLT a specific charge every year, makes it kind of a nice, neat package. Mr. Bennett is in agreement as the head of the DLT. Everybody I've talked to in the different areas has been in agreement with it, and we would just have to expand the charge of the DLT to be specific about the code of conduct. So that's one thing. The second one is the Health and Wellness Committee, and I spoke with Aaron about this one. One of the things that the state requires is that there is an annual review of the food program, the food services program. We recently had that audit, and it makes a lot of sense to wrap Tracy Churchill into the Health and Wellness Committee, bring her on board with that, and expand their charge as well to oversee the state regulations in that area. Aaron is in agreement with that. Mike was in agreement with it. So that'll, again, expanding the charge going forward, we'll write that in and just make that committee's job a little harder. Sorry, guys. And then lastly, the Gifted and Talented Committee, which unfortunately has been very low membership and support for the last few years. With Mr. Mahan leaving, it basically leaves just Jim. And it's been a little scattered in terms of its purpose. So what we think would be best right now is to, again, remove the committee from the list and instead, sorry guys, ask for a task force to be developed. The task force needs to be shared decision, stakeholder groups, and the job of the task force. I will gladly put my time in because I don't like to ask anybody else to do the hard work without me, or without putting my own in. But the idea behind it is we have a lot of opportunities. A lot for the older kids, maybe not so much for the youngers. How does this all work? What do we need to do for these kids? We need to examine it more. We need to get the word out more about the different opportunities that are out there for the kids who want them. And I just think, I don't know whether, maybe task force isn't the right word, but I think that's what we kind of came up with when we talked. We need a committee to sit down, or a group to sit down, and lay everything out on a piece of paper, plan some communication, think about who should be responsible for overseeing some of this different stuff, and are we all in the right place? And then potentially we may end up redeveloping a committee and adding it back to the list, or potentially this just gets handed to someone as part of their workload because it doesn't need to be a committee. But the task force needs to get together, and it needs to start sooner than later because, like I said, those opportunities are there, and we need kids to take advantage of them and know what they have the ability to do. Did I cover everything, Jim?
No, I think that's good. Good cover. Also, for the gifted and talented, to be transparent. So there's a lot of children, there's a lot of community members, and there's a lot of staff members that aren't quite aware of all the different opportunities that the school district has. And I didn't know either. We found out a lot, and I'm still learning more, that having it refreshed or surfaced some type of way that we can give accessibility to everyone instead of it being in a vacuum would be, shared throughout the district would be very helpful.
And I
Thank you.
I can only think that that will help the guidance counselors, that will help the different departments to develop for the kids whatever they need as we go forward. So that's that. Thank you very much to all of the people who very kindly gave us time in their days to sit down and talk through everything. All the other committees, everybody was pretty happy with how they're working, who's on them, their charges, and so on. So I think those are the 3 bullet points coming out of this, and I think at that point we've achieved the goal we set out to do this year.
So I think that a couple points as you were going through, for the code of conduct, it's actually a required kind of policy. And so in talking with Wendy, our counsel, about that, the way it is written, the code of conduct policy links directly to the code of conduct document. And so I said, well, that not really, it's a procedure, it's not a policy, but state regs require the link to it. So that's one area where for the code of conduct, yes, it has to be reviewed annually. So I think incorporating that into the DLT makes perfect sense for that. I think the other thing, well, the other 2 things, so with the food service, by all means, add Tracy to it. I think it makes sense, and I'm sure she can contribute and provide a different perspective, and so forth. And then 3, for the gifted and talented, the policy committee has had some preliminary discussions about, is there a need for a policy for gifted and talented? So right now it's not a requirement, and we're going through and doing the required first, but maybe this is one of the ones that we need to kind of move up and do it along with the required for Greenville to have a policy about gifted and talented on what the board thinks for that. So that then flows into the task force and everything else. That kind of, to me, it just segues in. So I offer that out as a possibility. So the policy committee is meeting on, I think, the 24th of June.
I have a question on the Code of Conduct Committee. Timeliness. I think the Code of Conduct is usually reviewed toward the end of the year or during the summer, so that we start with a Code of Conduct that is not going to be manipulated during the school year. So if you were to shift those responsibilities to a district level committee that has people that are not here during the summer, I'm wondering how that's going to get done as far as any changes needed to the Code of Conduct.
So what I think is being proposed is when we take it on for next year, going into the following year, that's where the code of conduct will be. We'll finish out this year the way we've done it in the past, and then moving into next year, the district level team will take over that responsibility. We meet 4 to 5 times a year.
526?
Yes, yep, for the 25-26 year.
Having served on both, I think it's a really natural move, because the DLT is meeting quarterly or maybe a little bit more, and they can make it part of like an ongoing process to prepare for the next year, rather than the code of conduct being tacked on as an extra couple of meetings for the same individuals. Quickly, let's cram it all in because we have to get it approved, kind of thing.
I'm not disputing your recommendation. I'm just wondering, you know, is it going to be overloaded? And maybe parsing it out was a great idea at the beginning. No, I don't dispute any of the things that you come up with.
Okay, thank you. So now I'm going to move us on to the action items. So the first action item I have is a motion to approve the minutes from May 13th, 2024.
Angela and Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the finance reports for the month ending May 31st, 2024.
Eric, I need a second. Angela?
Any discussion on this?
I have several questions, but since our business administrator is not here, I will ask those questions so that you all can see them, and then if Ty wants to respond, you'll see the response as well. But,
Okay. Is there anything that would preclude a vote?
no.
Okay, all right. Any other questions that we have? All right, then all in favor for accepting the finance reports?
Aye.
I need a motion to accept the Committee on Special Education recommendations.
Jim and Angela?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the very lengthy personnel agenda.
Eric and Angela?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt the resolution of the Board of Education of the Greenville Central School District to authorize the district clerk to unseal and open the ballot box and destroy official ballots from the May 23 school board election and budget votes of last year, correct?
Yeah. Eric and Jim?
Any discussion? And we've done this in the past, correct? Yes.
Every year.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt the resolution dated June 10th, 2024 of the Board of Education for the Greenville Central School District authorizing the establishment of a capital reserve fund in the amount not to exceed $2 million.
Eric and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt the bond resolution dated June 10th, 2024 of the Board of Education of the Greenville Central School District authorizing not to exceed $1,015,762 aggregate principal amount of serial general obligation bonds to finance the acquisition of school buses and associated radios at an estimated aggregate maximum cost of $1,015,762, levy of tax and annual installments and payment thereof, expenditure of such sum for such purpose, and determining other matters in connection therewith. That was a mouthful.
I have Eric, I need a second. Jim?
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the results of the May 21st, 2024 annual vote and election.
Angela and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Board of Voter Registration for the 24-25?
No, it's 23.
23-24?
Yep, I had a person call in sick, so I had to scramble and find
Got it.
somebody.
Okay, and that's Sierra Missler.
Yes. Eric and Angela?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the 24-25 school improvement and district goals development calendar.
Eric and Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the 24-25 Board of Education schedule.
Jim and Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the intermunicipal agreement between the Greenville Central School District and the County of Greene and Sheriff of Greene County for a school resource officer for the period of September 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $69,605.05.
Kelly and Angela?
Any discussion? Dave? Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the health and welfare service contract between the Greenville Central School District and the City School District of Albany for the 23-24 school year.
Jim and Eric?
Any discussion? Is there any way we can get this earlier? This really annoys me.
I know. I think they try to capture all of the students for the year. can they wait till the end? I can ask. I'll ask.
It just seems like financially, we would want it before, 2 weeks before the end of the school year, since it's a contract. But all in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and the Pioneer Occupational Therapy LLC for occupational therapy services from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
Angela, Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and Oak Hill School for July 1st, 2024 through June 27th, 2025.
Eric? And Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So we got rid of 616?
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
didn't tell anybody else though why, so if you want to mention why.
Sure, there was just, in looking over the contract, there was some wording in it that was supposed to be removed, so we pulled it, we're gonna ask them to remove it. It will be on, for the end of June, for the 24th. All right, so then I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and Bunkoff General Contractors, Inc. for the general construction, contract number 101, work related to the 2022 capital improvement project in the amount of $6,533,000.
Eric, I need a second. Angela?
Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and Campedo Plumbing and Heating, Inc. for the mechanical construction, contract number 102, work related to the 2022 capital improvement project in the amount of $2,100,000.
Kelly? Eric?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to have the amount corrected.
With a comma.
With the comma, I just, yeah, corrected it.
It's a legal document.
Absolutely. So it will be corrected. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and CKM Electrical Services, Inc. for electrical construction, contract number 103. I see a trend here. Work related to the 2022 capital improvement project in the amount of $820,800.
Jim and Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and Crisafulli Mechanical LLC for plumbing construction, contract number 104, work related to the 2022 capital improvement project in the amount of $1,369,500.
Kelly and Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to award the refuse removal bid to County Waste and Recycling Services out of Ulster LLC for the 24-25 school year.
Kelly? No. Angela and Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so let's see. I need a motion to award the fresh bread bid, DCMO BOCES Cooperative Purchasing, as opposed to stale bread? I'm sorry, I couldn't
Good point.
resist.
Croutons. Angela, I need a second. Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's see, I need a motion to approve an overnight field trip by FFA Summer Camp to Camp Oswegatchie, going in August for 20 students.
I have Eric and Angela.
Any discussion?
Yes, this is the best part of proving something.
Yes, for kids, exactly. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve these surplus items for several books, it looks like,
And some instruments.
and some instruments.
Eric, I need a second. Angela?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Dave? Okay.
for discussion at a future meeting. Do we have any topics?
I have a question. No, you go first.
You go first.
Flip a coin.
All right, I'll go first. So mine, I'm not picking on you, but I want to tackle all the sports questions maybe at the next meeting or before the next school year, so we don't go through all the same things again. So, like the fields,
Uniforms
uniform
modified.
process, spectator sportsmanship, like what do we expect? What else do I have here? And cheer club or modified, that whole thing. So if all those could be addressed.
Okay.
Was that yours?
Dave?
No. Mine's much more meaty. Not really. Mike, in your update, you had mentioned a grant we'd received for funding of a study on the EV.
Yep.
You want a question, or could we have a discussion now?
Yeah, well, I'll try to answer any questions that you've got.
Okay.
One of the things that I will just preface that by saying is, in order to get the grant, we had to work with a company. They helped to write the grant and get it submitted to New York State for approval so that they would fund the grant. And this is going to take a look at the governor's transition to EV buses. So it'll include everything from our bus routes. They'll work with the energy company to figure out where they're at and being able to actually be able to do this. One of the things that before we get into any type of project, we need to know the scope of what is going to be asked of us in regards to meeting the state qualifications for it. So we had put it out there to a couple of different companies to say, how can you help us? And this is what they've come up with. So it hasn't started yet. They did an initial conversation with Mary over at the transportation garage and to start to take a look at what these our routes actually look like so that they can put together a comprehensive report on what it could look like.
So part of my concerns were answered with that response. So the outfit that, or company that pursued the grant is also the company that's going to do the study for us?
Correct, yep.
And that the grant fully funds their work? That's
Correct.
Does the grant fund any of the responsibilities that our folks are going to be doing? The time that Mary puts in, the time that I'm sure Todd's going to put in to answer their questions or give them data?
No, because we have to collect that data anyways, and so Mary's done most of this work already because that's who Mary is. She's out in front of everything. So it's really not, they do the bulk of the work, 90% share of the work. We are just, a lot of what we can provide to them is automated, like our bus runs and the amount of buses, the drivers, the times, all that stuff is already, we will have all that information. They're just going to collect it, synthesize it, take a look and kind of lay it across what it would mean for electric buses, and then be able to give us back a report that says, you'll need a certain amount of buses, you'll need a certain amount of charging stations, you'll need to have, the electric company being able to, put power in, and again, a lot of this stuff is, we've kind of delayed this as much as we can. There is some talk at the governor's level that they're going to slow down their timeline a little bit, but we have to get the study done. So the grant really provides monies for the work so that we can then take a look at what type of project we may need.
Is this study mandatory? Are all the other schools?
Yes, the schools are doing this, and again, I think there's grants out there to do it, but you have to have, get the approval of the grant in order to get it done, and we just had gotten that approval.
My main question was really about whether or not, because it's additional work. I understand it may be something that Mary already does, but even having a conversation in some businesses is considered additional work, and it's billable, let's say, use those terms.
We don't have
I know.
our lawyers same, but most of what New York State gives school districts is unfunded. And I mean, let's be honest. So, this isn't new in the sense that they're asking schools to do something and not necessarily giving extra money for it.
So they're going to take work that's already available and just glean the answers that they need to prove.
Yeah,
Provide
they'll
the study.
right. They'll take what we currently do with our diesel buses and be able to take all that information and then be able to put a transition plan together with costs and all those types of things. So that's really what we're looking for right now, and we'll see what comes of it and what our next steps will be after we get that report.
A question, is any of their work done, like are they actually going to come and see the types of routes we have, or are they relying strictly on data?
No, they'll do a lot of work here on site. They'll work with Mary, maybe take runs, but again, a lot of the information that Mary is able to provide for them is industry standard type stuff in regards to miles, the amount of gas we use, those types of things, how long our buses are out, what types of runs do we have with our runs that go up to New Visions or down to Klein School or all over the capital region basically, types of field trips, all those types of things that we routinely have. They'll take all that information and they'll be able to glean a really good idea of what we're currently doing. Harrison, did you have a question or did?
Yes, just a quick side question. So if we do start, merging into electric buses, what are our plans with the diesel buses? Are we gonna set them up for auction, scrap? Curious.
The state does give us some time to phase them out, so end of life buses basically, we take off the roads and so. What's that?
35, 20?
Yeah, 2035 is currently what we're supposed to be all electric by then. But again, we'll see how that goes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or topics for?
I do have a topic. It's on recently our students going into the summer in high school. I believe if you're 80% or above, you can apply to take some online courses through Columbia Green, courses to where I guess if you're not was it school lunch funded, it's at a reduced rate. I think it's 1/3 of the normal cost. I would like to know as far as how much this program is being utilized. I mean, how many courses are being taken, and then possibly we can help budget to counter help pay for the cost of the students that are 80% or above, using their time efficiently over the summers in order to do this work. I know we do a summer school, whereas if you need help, sometimes you need it, and sometimes it's because maybe you weren't as disciplined, and we take that on. But the students that are doing above and beyond, I was wondering if this way we could look at this to maybe offset their costs that way as well. I just don't know how often, how many times it's being utilized and what the cost actually is. That
I'd like
makes
to
sense.
add to that too, we'd also, it's not just Columbia Green, I'd like to see if our students are using the Hudson Valley program, which I believe is free for high school students versus paying for it.
Correct, Kelly.
Right.
Thank you.
Hudson Valley's free this summer.
Okay, all right, perfect, we'll add that in. Any other topics? Okay, then just a couple of reminders. We have the 5th grade advancement on Monday, the 24th at 8:30. We have the 8th grade advancement Tuesday, the 25th at 9 a.m. And we have the high school graduation Friday, June 28th at 6 p.m. I believe Daphne has sent out an email to board members. If you plan on attending, please let her know. Our next board meeting is June 24th at 6 p.m. and our reorganization one is July 8th at 6 p.m. So please add those to your calendar. And closing open forum. Please note the same guidelines apply as stated during the first open forum. Is there anyone that would like to speak? And do we have any emails? No? Okay. All right, then I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Come on, guys. Any discussion? Wake up. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
You need more sugar, help yourself.
Wonderful.